Good morning, good evening, and good night, wherever you are, and welcome to Requiem for London Chronicles, the City of Martyrs. And we begin our scene in the City of London, at one of the old trade houses, an ancient establishment that has hosted many events, many festivals. Only the most exclusive, only the most powerful, entitled, well bred are allowed in such a place. But tonight we see a gathering, the first in many years, an Invictus gathering. Many of the high society individuals who seek to reclaim London, seek to reinvest in London, have been invited to this ball, a party hosted by one Arthur, the bookkeeper of the House of the Mother. An individual who claims that he can not only reclaim London, he can make it better than it was, wealthier, more prosperous. And he has hosted this party as an attempt to prove the security of London, the investment in London. And we will go towards two kindred, the first kindred, who has been invited to this gathering, to this party, a well-known kindred, a member of the Invictus, a high member of standing and respect amongst the house, amongst the dynasty. And he has been welcomed into the establishment. The security, of course, have not bothered to search him, not bothered to look upon him, because they have no right. Such is his presence, such is his dynasty. His child follows in suit, unsure of her circumstance, unsure of what is happening or what to do, but performs as best or as suited. She follows her sire's commands. And you both are presented down this sort of ancient kind of corridor that leads down this sort of immense building, this tall trade house building that's quite modern yet old at the same time. And as you go down, you proceed past these sort of many sort of corridors that have this reflection of gold, paintings, artwork, music, reflection of London, the history of London, the expense of London. And as you proceed further forward and forward, you enter a grand hall, an area laden with marble floors, gilded gold sort of emblems that illustrate the wallpaper, and stone works of marble and fine craftsmanship that lace the area, and a grand fireplace almost in the back that seems to light up the area. And before you see a mix of kindred mortal ghouls that seem to be celebrating, dressed in finery, reveling in their own opulence, their own magnificence. And we will leave with our thoughts and feelings and our character as they emerge in this ballroom, this party, this gathering.
Never being a man for actually going to any sort of these events, he was always the one watching over, doing the work, seeing that people are safe inside these events. But just lately, his job description has changed a lot, and now he's walking into this wonderful, wonderful place to mortalize to anyone who is of high society, but to him it's just one of the big facades of everything that the Invictus is. How what they do and everything like that else. They act so human and so civilized, but they are no less monsters than anyone else. He turns to his child on his side and says, Cassandra, you need to take it easy in here. Don't get any in a scuffles. Don't feed too much. Act civilized. All that. all those things. They will find anything and everything and latch it onto your status. If you get into any trouble, just say you're mine, and you'll get out of most things.
I'll do my best to behave. But God, this is disgusting. Look at them. They pretend as if nothing's happening. If London is theirs, this is insane.
Yeah, that's what they do. Now, let's have a look around. Maybe we can find someone to chat with. Maybe someone new, like you, or younger at least. And he'll actually, eye around the room, see if there is someone of any interest inside the room.
As you look and you look around, you see quite large groups. You, of course, sense the presence of other kindred, other entities, ghouls, young and old beasts. And as you look around, you, of course, sense the main host, the individual most seductive of his beast at the moment. It seems to exhume around this whole area. It's as if he has claimed this place as his. It is his haven. It is his home and establishment, his welcome. His mere presence seems to be a focal point to his essence that seems to sort of wash over you almost in a disgusting kind of manner. And of course, he's in the background, just chatting away, discussing. He seems to be talking with mortals and kind alike and kindred. And you will also see one other individual, another Invictus member, the last and only Invictus member of the House of the Golden Hand, Michael May's former dynasty, the dynasty that once ruled London. He seems to be sat somewhat quiet, somewhat silent in the corner of the room, as if uncaring, as if unfeeling to what's going on. He has a few servants beside him. And towards the other side of the room, you will see a female character who seems somewhat more silent, somewhat more... her presence seems to give across a more hatred to what's going on, and more she has seen more of a constitution, more of a religious fever about her, and she seems to look down upon what's going on right now. And she's sat towards more of the fireplace, towards the sort of fire, the where many kindred aren't, hanging around or going towards. She seems to be staying, seems to be going towards, closer and closer. And he seems to be the key figures, the key kindred that you see before
you. He'll scan the room. Does he know the name of the individual of the Michael May's dynasty?
Yes, his name would be James.
Like me.
James R. No, is it James Doyle? I think it's James Doyle. It would be his full name.
Cool. He'll approach Mr. Doyle, and he'll be standing about 10 meters away or something like that, waiting to be acknowledged to approach.
Okay, so we'll do this a quick kind of conversation, and then we'll head towards another kindred who will be entering in a moment. So as you approach, your child would be behind you. For now, she seems to just be lingering, waiting. She seems anxious. She seems to want to get away. She is wearing a very fine ball gown for this evening. And I'm assuming you're dressed quite well.
He's wearing a nice trench coat and everything like that, buttoned up, with a vest, a nice vest, and he looks like at like a fancy restaurant or something like that. Someone would think he is a waiter, but anyone who knows the styles and stuff like that, he would be wearing something out of the 1950s, 1960s festive wear for men, with a vest with a small scarf in it, a pocket watch going across.
So this individual, he looks at your appearance. He looks at you as you come across the room. You've heard of this individual. You've seen him before at other parties, and of course, he's always been quite. He was always considered a young kindred, a nobody, but now he's the only sole kind of heir to a grand dynasty, as all the other members have died during the Night of Storms, eliminated during the apocalypse of London, and as you approach him, yes, he does seem somewhat powerful. He seems to have these ghouls, these servants that surround him. Even other kindred seem to be speaking to him as if wanting to discuss terms, policies, diplomacy. And as you approach, you of course bow, you wait, you take your time, and you do this very well. You've done this many times before. And gradually, after a moment or two, he acknowledges you and gestures for you to come forward. This is, of course, this is a neonate. This is a youngling gesturing for you to approach him. Quite a bold statement, but he is head of his dynasty. He is worthy of it to a certain point.
Yeah, and to that extent, he deserves the respect. And if not, this is the headquarters of his dynasty and his claim to as a rightful heir to so many positions and so on and so forth.
Yes, and obviously you can determine the political why so many people are speaking to him, because he is currently heir to many of the infrastructure, many of the companies that are invested in London, and this is the new gold rush, the new oil fields of the kindred world. So he gestures for you. He allows you to. He goes, "Ah, Sheriff, it is very good to see you. We have met before, but I believe I was quite young and undeserving of your attention."
Mr. Doyle, it's a nice pleasure to meet you and see you actually back in the city of London. I welcome you back to the place of your dynasty, and thank you so much for attending this wonderful, wonderful evening.
Ah, so good to be back in these halls, this place of my birthright, my home. And I gesture a welcome for you. And may the house of the mother, the dynasty of the silent conspiracy, be always welcomed here in London. I must admit, I've only just arrived here, and I've heard good terms from you and other kindred that seem to be in London. The enlightened seem to be on the back foot, as it were.
Mr. Doyle, of course, they might be on the back foot, but when on the open battlefield, one must also know that when the enemy is retreating, one must be aware of the pensive movements from the sides.
I appreciate and understand such advice, but they are just mere mortals. Their attention spans are so short. They surely will have forgotten or even given up on their policies on us already.
I assure you, Mr. Doyle, they're not mere mortals.
I've heard some strange rumors, information from trusted advisors and allies, but to consider them above us is very premature, very full. But I assure that you will be one of our saviors in this city. The sheriff who has claimed the many deaths in Highgate, I believe, and has also eliminated many of these hunters, these enlightened.
I am simply doing my job for the sake of the Invictus and the Crimson Council, sir.
Well, the House of the Golden Hand appreciates this, and we will reward all those that have established our true claim to London, and we assure you that whoever is in charge or is prince of this realm will remember your name, and you will be acknowledged amongst the Invictus.
Now, Mr. Doyle, I have a question for you.
I'm quite busy and tired, but please, you may ask one question.
The woman over there, and he points to the girl with the cross and everything like that, the one who looks almost disgusted. Who is she?
That is an individual. I think she goes by the name of Jessica. She is of the Le Sanctum. They have been very cold-handed in London. She seems to be the only Le Sanctum that I know of who has entered this realm. She's more tied in with Arthur than myself. I've tried to speak with her, but she only seems to have scorn or detest for me.
Okay. Thank you so much for information, sir. And of course, I would like you to meet, and he presents Cassandra, Miss Weathers, my first sired child.
Now he raises an eyebrow at that, and it's like, oh, the sheriff, the noble adopted child of the great mother of science herself, has a child, has a sibling, has a daughter, and of course he even stands up to gesture or bow or to acknowledge her. And she, you know what, she looks really uncomfortable about the whole situation. But then after a while, she really kind of morphs into it, and she goes into that seductive thing, and kind of they both walk towards each other, and she kind of gestures for her hand to be kissed, and he kind of accepts and acknowledges, and they both talk and discuss. And she seems to have jumped ahead of you. She seems to have gone past you, and is now talking to this individual, seducting him almost. The kind of Deva aspect has kind of emerged quite greatly out of her. And with that, you're left quite free to move and mingle for a bit more. But we will zoom in to another character for now, and we will go towards one Kindred, who has heard of tonight's event, heard of the Invictus Party, the gathering of the mighty, the entitled the True Rulers of London. And she is currently just outside this Kindred of the Grand Hall, the Traders' House of the City of London. With its secured bouncers, guests, stars, everything is tight knit. And we go to your thoughts and feelings as you see this before you.
Yes, Emily has been. Well, she's been shaken. Well, you can't really do that when you're dead, but the nerves are clearly there. She's been having them for a couple of hours now. She's been, well, panicking in her own mind, but she knows that she has to do her job, or else very, 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 very bad things are bound to happen to her fast. So she's going to keep her finger on the pulse somewhat and find out just what's going on, how many people are there, maybe introduce herself. Oh God, introduce. The mere thought of introducing herself to some of these people gives her, well, chills or panic, almost panic, but she at least has to show up, and she is wearing what most women would describe as their very casual clothing. It is definitely Emily's finest. It is a bit more relaxed, or a bit more fine than her normal training clothes, which is pretty much all she wears. But yeah, she's pretty much wearing what you see in the picture of her, and sort of like leather pants, and she has kind of a jacket on, a bit more social jacket, but she puts that over her shoulder and just walks up to the bouncers.
As you do, they just look at you quite oddly and confused, but they'll just simply say like invitation. What's the password code? What letter of recommendation do you have? They speak all these riddles, all these kind of puzzles.
She will she will just show them her arm, and just the mark will just light up. She will do her best to hide it, but so it's only them that can see.
You show it to you speak to the one or two of the bouncers. They seem to not know anything, but then one of the head bouncers, an individual, he looks and he sees that mark, and instantly just goes, okay, sorry, I apologize, and allows you through, and gestures for others to kind of let it through. No questions. He speaks on the radio. Tall female coming through. Casual clothing, such and such. Don't prosecute. Don't antagonize. Just let it through. And you're kind of just led through. You opened, and there is layers of security. There's like 3 layers of security. Open, inside, sort of middle, and then inside. And the inside are quite heavily armed as you go through. And of course, you go through, and you're presented the same scene as before. This grand kind of ballroom, this grand hall area that is filled with both kindred ghouls and mortal alike. And this is quite heavily underground and very well lit. And you see these fine fabrics and gold materials that seem to embolden and enlace and lighten the whole area. But you are like a sore thumb. You are standing out. Oh, everyone there is in quite fine material, fine clothing. Some are very eccentric. Some are dressed in this very sort of Victorian kind of era way, as if they're trying to relive a past. We live in an era that is no longer accepting of them. Others are more modern, but even the modern types are very pristine, very high type. And you stand out quite sorely, very heavily, to the point where others will start to look at you, start to be concerned by you, or gossip, or rumor, or whisper as you walk through. Even if you try to hide, they still notice you.
Yeah, at the beginning, Emily's just going to find somewhere and try to appear as though she is the wallpaper, or the same color as the wallpaper, same getup, but it doesn't work, and she knows it. So she will just sit down. Is there a bar or something that she can just go closer to, or something?
There is a bar, and it is a very fine, very refined sort of bar. And if you do go towards it, it's somewhat more empty. It seems as if a lot of the kindred are more focused in the ballroom area, the area where they're dancing. There's the music, the gossip, the chatter. The bar area seems a bit more quiet, and you may sit there by yourself or sit there alone. And there is a sort of a lone barman or a couple of staff that are hovering around.
You know what? Can I see somewhat like Eric and his chowder?
Yes, you can sense them, you can feel them, and you spot the same sort of individuals that I described earlier. The host of the party, who seems to, his kindred essence seems to ooze over you, as if, yes, I'm the kindred hosting this party, in control of this haven. And you sense the other kindred, who seem to be gathering the most attention or the most emotion in this party. So the dynasty member, the Golden Hand, the stranger, sort of the sanctum individual in the fireplace, and yes, Eric and James and his new daughter Cassandra in the corner of the room.
Cassandra and him are currently talking to the man.
At the moment, yes, they're currently talking to this.
Emily will get closer to the two, because this is actually someone she knows, and that seems like a comforting thing right now.
Okay, so I think we could do a mixture where basically Cassandra will be talking to James at the moment. The Golden
Mr. Doyle.
Mr. Doyle, James Doyle. And we will, as this is happening, Eric, you'll be sort of looking around the room as you see this person who's standing out like a sore thumb in the entire room, dressed very not appropriately. Even her gestures, a social interaction, even the way she's walking, she just looks like a homeless person that's walked into like one of the Queen Jubilees sort of parties. It's so out of place, so inappropriate, and ugh, it screams for her to be chucked out. But everyone seems to ignore her, as if not trying to pay attention.
What the fuck are you wearing? First of all, describe that to me one more time.
She is wearing like they seem like fairly heavy pants, like leather pants of some sort. And fairly like a top of some kind, and yeah, she's wearing makeup. That's a plus. And it's clear that she's done a little bit, but I mean, honestly, this is more like she's made a lot more of herself than you have seen before. So that's something, I guess. Maybe.
Is she wearing like a tank top or and a hoodie or something like that?
Nope. It looks like an evening dress of some kind.
Okay.
But it's not high end. It's better than a tank top and a hoodie. That much is certain.
He immediately goes up to you and says, "Miss Stevenson, may I touch you a little bit?"
Wait, what?
May I correct your posture?
She looks confused at you. Sure.
Thank you. And he goes right back under you, like behind you, and straightens your back a little bit, and your legs that are more or less, I would guess, like standing kind of broadly. He puts them together a little bit, and places your hands.
You can tell like the moment you begin to touch her and like just like there's almost like a little yip or something, and she seems very, very uncomfortable with it.
Yep, he doesn't care. He continues anyway, and puts your hands in front of you as you are more or less wearing a handbag and holding it like that. That's better. People were staring.
It's kind of, she looks down, kind of stuffy, right? Or right. And she looks around, of course. Never mind. So how are you doing? Having a good night?
I'm having a terrible night.
Oh, that's not good.
No, I don't like these kind of things. But nevertheless, sometimes you are required to come to these kind of things.
Yeah, when it's your job. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Over there, and he mentions for Arthur. That is my stepbrother, Arthur. He is the bookkeeper within the Invictus, and you should be addressing him as such. He is of high standard within these halls, maybe even higher than me or equal to me. He is of my dynasty, and you should be addressing him as Sir, not Lord or anything like that, just Sir. Or if you are really, really inclined to Sir Arthur, within these halls, my name is Sir as well. You can call me Sir Barber. And that man over there talking to my child Cassandra right now, that is James Doyle of one of the dynasties who used to run London. He is a very well-respected man, although he is a neonate. He should be respected as an ancilla.
So just to add, as you say this, as you point this out and look, Cassandra is already kind of on top of him and kissing him and kind of embracing him and kinds of physical activity on top of him. The other Invictus members seem to be just watching this in a sense of joy and pleasure. Two dynasties merging and enjoying each other.
What are they like? Isn't that the? Emily just looks at you. Isn't that the seer?
My child.
Oh! Congratulations! But shouldn't you be She just looks over and seems uncomfortable. She just turns a bit away, like turns her back to it, and just, shouldn't you, you know, it's a little, like a lot of people around, and they're practically fornicating.
Well, it's just mortal business. It's nothing. It's not like they're
No, but come
changing
on,
blood.
It's gross. Like, shouldn't you not do that? Like,
She's a deva. And that's what deva does.
okay, I'll talk to you later, okay? And Emily just nods to you and just wishes you farewell, and she just begins to make distance between herself and the grabbiness or the whatever's going on.
It's not totally like actually when it gets a bit more involved, the security staff kind of envelop them both or surround them both. To give a
It
sense
does
of
not
privacy.
matter.
But
This is
yeah,
not
it's
something
happening. It's
Emily
it's
is just like, nope.
it's a mortal. Let's perform a mortal.
There
thing
is
amongst
many
things.
reasons as to why Emily is like, nope. But that's a tale for another day. She will actually just go over to the fireplace.
Okay, so we'll allow you to just zoom over. So you'll walk away from James. James, your daughter has kind of actually, in some ways, it's a bit impressive. She's already gone off and already kind of assumed herself, enveloped herself into another kindred of another dynasty. Now, of course, to young kindred or mortals, this would be seen as somewhat sinister, somewhat fleshy and embarrassing almost. But amongst kindred of an elder, sleeping or engaging or physical contact with the kindred is just polite manners in some ways, so a good way to introduce oneself. So this will be happening in the back scene. So you're left with a few moments, Eric or James, your PC, if you wish to carry on or intercede, or perhaps feel your property is being misused.
He'll more or less, through the blood sympathy and everything like that, send a message of that's enough.
Fair. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She knows, she can feel that pull. And the staff, after a while, she'll emerge, dressed somewhat disrobed, somewhat loosened, somewhat messed around with, and she'll only look at you. She'll look at you with a smile and gesture of sort of a wink or a light sort of laugh as she kind of grasps your hand or moves you forward, going, he seems like a simple fool.
He is no simple fool. He is of high standard and has been born with a silver spoon within his mouth. Watch your tongue with these people, especially of Ventrue.
He may have thought a silver spoon was good in his mouth until he tasted me.
Cassandra, you might have been a ghoul for very long, but as a kindred, you are still very, very young. Now, on another hand, I want to go and talk to this Jessica of the La Sanctum.
What do you want me to do, sire, master?
If you would like to introduce me. No, that would be stupid and dumb. She wouldn't like that. I know how to do it. Go and talk to your uncle for me. Say hello. Say that I will be right there shortly.
She's, again, that bored look or that sense of just, for God's sake, okay. And then
present yourself well, so tidy yourself up beforehand. You have makeup smeared all over your face and your lipstick is out of place. Not that is a bad thing. I'm really proud of you.
Didn't think he cared, father.
No.
She just says that in a very stormy way and presents herself well and gets the mirror out and applies more makeup and gets herself more ready. And yes, you will walk towards the fireplace. And I think, Emily, your PC is already there. because you already had been walking, and you're both standing by this kind of great fireplace that's there, and no other kindred are kind of there. The other kindred stay away from it, of course, because of the natural fear, the natural sense of fire, the evaporation of the essence of the kindred when they come close to the flame. But this kindred does not seem to be affected by it. She seems to actually seem staring at it as if everything else is irrelevant. She's just very focused on the flames, focused on the fire itself. And we will go to Emily first, as she has walked up to this kindred first. And you're presented with this just very tall woman, black hair, very black hair, very sort of common clothing, puffy and modern yet Tudor in style.
Emily will just look at her for a moment and just say, "So you're not you feeling all right? Like you're not joining the others?"
She looks at you in a very cold manner, in a very precise sort of manner. She looks you up and down, examines you for a few moments. You are new, aren't you?
Quite. Well, it depends. I mean, depends what you mean by new. Like,
well, you're young enough. Why? What do you want from me? Why do you speak to me?
something was. I needed to go somewhere else, and there weren't too many people over here, so I went over here, and I thought I'd strike up polite conversation. She just shrugs as she looks at her.
As you say that, she just like looks at you very confused, and just you're quite a bizarre creature, aren't you? Obviously not Invictus. Their tongues are far more vile and poisoned. You have something of the earth about you. Something simple.
Emily just takes a couple moments. Thanks, I think.
Unless you wish to speak with me of a purpose, a task, an offering, I have nothing to say to you, nothing of worth, nothing of value, and you're wasting my time.
Wow. Okay. Emily just kind of just, she's not angry, but she's just like, inside her head, the word bitch probably comes up.
Oh yeah, this person just is looking down at you in the...
Yeah, like, Emily's just like, okay, well, enjoy your evening or something, and then Emily just walks off.
Yeah, no, she does not even change character. She just continues to look at the flame or turn her head. And it will say as you walk off or as you walk away, James or your PC, Eric, your PC will emerge or walk into the conversation and maybe hear the last few words as that happens.
He'll look to Miss Stevenson as she leaves and just go up to the fire and stand next to this woman and say, "When tempted, no one should say, 'God is tempting me,' for God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone. But each person is tempted when they are dragged away by their own evil desire and enticed. Then, after desire is conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when in its full grown, gives birth to death." James 13. to 15. It is fine to see one of your people around this damned city of death these nights.
Ugh. It's been a while since I've heard that verse. It's still true as it was then as it is now. I thank you of your way of reminding me of such things. Good to see that some still have knowledge of the book, the ways of old, the true path.
It is good to know that people within the Laseric Sanctum is here to shed new light on these awful, awful, dreaded nights when the full moon is full grown and it burns down upon us. Of course, it can be summed up to some sort of divine judgment upon the city, as so many people say it is.
I shall not grant answers, and I shall not speak of these events in London. To the man of you and your words, I give credit and full value, but your child speaks different. She seems to be whoring herself. To any, they are welcome.
My child is brought up on a veil of lies. My sire, my real sire, used to be a member of the Invictus first and then the Crown. Then she converted fully to the Crown. My sire's school is that woman I now sired, and I'm trying to teach her the right ways. But of course, one cannot teach an old dog to sit in just one night.
As you describe all this, she really looks down at you in contempt. And it's that look of sort of incest and disgust and sort of heresy and just, ugh. You seem to be an honest, noble individual. Your status and your ability in the city is known to me, but the company you keep is foul and, ugh, putrid. But know that Jessica, I of the Le Sanctum, recognize you and acknowledge you at least as the sheriff of this corrupted city. And she sort of stares at the fire more and leans in towards the fire more.
I thank you, Jessica. And I simply say upon your comment that strange times makes for strange bedfellows. And I would be glad to hear that someday, or maybe some of these nights, you are going to start up a church and have some sermons.
Right. Because of your successes earlier, you worked very well in your social and your stage. So she'll look to you as if she's just gonna get up and go. She's had enough. And she gestures for two other individuals that you don't even notice. They're kind of in the background. They kind of emerge from the shadows and sort of hover around her or kind of go towards her. And she looks to you, and it's a moment of sort of pity, a moment of an individual looking at a dog, looking at a pet almost. The city will be burned or drowned in fire. Don't take other sins upon yourself. This is the only advice I can give.
I would say that while Cain asked God, "Am I my brother's keeper?" when talking about Abel, I am this city's keeper, and all its sins that falls upon this city is upon my hands and upon my shoulders to bear as well. And I will do the best to cleanse this city of any sin in the best of my abilities.
In that case, and she actually takes off the cross that she's wearing on her chest, takes it off and places it around your neck. It's a very simple metal cross, iron, very old cross. And she places it around your neck and ties it and gives you a light kiss on the cheek. And simply says, I only hope your burdens are less. May the sins of others be not as hefty.
Thank
I
you.
only wish you God's mercy.
Thank you once again. It is an honor having you here tonight. And if you ever need my help in any matters, do feel free to contact me whenever you feel so inclined. And he will extend his business card to her.
Oh yeah, she doesn't accept the strange shadow individual notes. You just accept the card for her. That you know from the discussion from it, this is an elder. This is an individual, high-ranking elder or some high member of the Sanctum. At least no one acts this way unless or feels this way. Even though she seems somewhat young, but her presence, her mannerisms are just too strange, too cold, too affirmative. And they accept your business card, they accept whatever information, and she will just walk away. She will proceed out of the party and she'll be interrupted. She'll talk to us, some other kindred along the path, but eventually she will go from the party, evaporate from the party. And we will zoom in past this scene and go towards Emily once more. What is Emily doing after walking away from this rude bitch?
Yes, very much so. Her preferred title. Emily just goes around, shakes her head a little as she's moving away. Whatever. She will just look, and she will see if she can find the Chandler of the sheriff, because she has actually not spoken to her yet. I don't believe. No.
Okay. No, you will. The child of the sheriff is currently speaking with the host of the party, an individual by the name of Arthur. You can feel his beast. You can feel his essence. It oozes all over this ballroom, this party, this establishment. His essence seems to reek of power, of dominance, of gesture and grandeur, as if he runs the show. He's the one operating this theatre performance. And you kind of walk up to Cassandra. She's waiting. She's kind of just queuing up with other kindred, other young neonates who seem to offering gifts, titles, presentations, moments of poetry, even. And she's just waiting there in this queue.
And yeah, Emily will, of course, as you do, go up and she'll just tap her. Like come from behind and just tap her on the shoulder, like doink doink doink. She won't say that, but she'll just tap her on the shoulder or on the back.
She'll hiss at you. She'll really hiss at you in a way of like and bare fangs and just be like, what who are you? What do you want? How dare you touch me?
All right, calm down. The last time the two of us saw each other, you were in a bad shape and you were carried out of the church. I just wanted to say hi.
That's when I was a mortal. That's when I was a person. That's when I was a prophet. She's dead. She doesn't exist anymore. This is me now. Speak to me as I am now.
And how is that different? Do you have a new name? What?
I am the child of the sheriff. I am one of highest diva in London. And you just come up to me and speak to me and talk to me?
Yeah, I do.
Wow. I'll mention to the sheriff how you rudely addressed me, how rudely you approached me.
Emily just looks confused for a moment. Right. I mean, what am I thinking? Like, of course I should be a total bitch to people because, yeah, that's the right way to go. Yeah, I forgot. Sorry about that. And she kind of looks confused. Like, she's not even mad. Like, then again, it's not really, like, in social situations, like, raising one's voice, it's not really Emily's style. Like, she's way too nervous or, like, there's also struggle inside Emily. Like, do I really take this from her or should I just, like, not cause a scene? And not causing a scene is very, very easy for her to decide towards. So she just said, like, well, good to, well, something to see you again. She just says, she just shakes her head and just, yeah, we'll see if she can get a drink somewhere.
She just, as you're saying this, as you kind of talk to her, she goes, oh, just go back to the dirt where you came from and stay there.
How loud did she say that?
Oh, very loud. Enough for the whole room. And she's saying it so the room is aware of it. It can hear it.
That is a test, right?
If you feel this is an insult heavy enough on your beast, yes, this would be a frenzy test.
I'm not sure because there is like a thing with social humiliation or like
you've been insulted. Your beast is telling you right now, you can have her, you can kill her, while you're obeying her commands. You know, this is a frenzy test. If you feel that your character has been insulted enough, I think there is a rule on this.
Actually, yeah, but actually, I think like if there's one thing Emily is fairly good at, it's like not giving into such things. So, like,
I would argue you don't give into such things to your master or your sire, but not to other kindred. And actually, your sire is higher than this individual. Your sire is higher than any of these individuals in this room right now, but they are treating you as if you're nothing. So,
I'll not say it this, but this is the last time. Like, the beast wants out. If someone, like, I'll just say it. Like, if someone just pokes at her again, it's gonna be a frenzy check.
I think this is it. This is the moment she's pushing you right now, and everyone's looking at you right now, and it's this is going to be the frenzy check for the scene. I think we'll do this because otherwise it's going to keep going. So
okay,
simply say it's your
humanity or composure, whatever's highest, right?
It's your resolve plus composure,
limited by my humanity.
But because of your bane, you're capped by your humanity dice.
Yes. So whatever is highest of the two, and that is my humanity.
So your
humanity, okay, here we go.
If you got loads of successes, that's fine. Okay, no, it's fine. Yes, she's proper provoking you right now. But yes, you have passed, and yes, you are capped by your Gangle curse.
That's not right. Okay, no, but yeah,
you just need the one success. That's fine. It's the one success is enough. So this individual is actually she is provoking in a frenzy type way.
Okay, if that's the case, then Emily's arm will just begin to glow, and she will just walk up to her. She's not going to that close, and she'll just like show this arm. You do know what this means, right? You do know what it means. Your sire has this and I have this, right?
She just nods and kind of she wants to say something but doesn't want to do it. And she said, I apologize. I accept the Crimson Council's agent before me and apologize for any offense I have given.
All right. Okay. I thought so. And yeah, Emily will just walk over to the bar because she needs a drink.
So yeah, you've seen this. This has all been big, like an embarrassing show. She's shown you up, and you've shown her your badge to her, and she's really kind of retracted and simplified it. And we'll go. You go to the bar. Eric, James, you have witnessed all this before you. You've seen this kind of scene go before you. How do you react? What do you do before this?
I mean, I think he's coming in at the end of all this.
Yes, towards the end, the whole room, witnesses this. That's the whole point of these events, these affairs, is kindred testing each other, witnessing each other's weaknesses, and they see your child humbly apologizing before this other kindred, a Crimson Council.
He walks up to her. What did you say to her?
The hell do you think I said? I said I'm sorry and I apologize. I groveled. There's a Crimson agent.
Miss Stevenson, can you come over here for just 1 minute?
Like a little will come out as Emily is just getting a drink. She will come over. She's holding it like a beer. Again, not big with etiquette. She'll just come over and just take a sip. Just yes.
I am sorry for the way that my child acted towards you, and I extend my deepest apologies. Hers and mine blood are the same, and everything she does until the day she is released is upon my head. And he is actually going to grab Cassandra and pull her to the ground, and you just do a big bow.
Yeah, that's fine. She doesn't resist. She doesn't do anything against that.
Please accept my most humble apology.
Oh, I accept. Thank you. Again, like this over like this more exuberant form of apology just seems to like James gets the impression like this is not something that, even with her status, this is not something Emily is at all used to. Like this just looks like she looks a bit surprised as this happens, but she just seems to like nod and said okay, and just seems to approve somewhat. Yeah, surprised, shall we say.
He'll stand up, holding up Cassandra as well. And say simply, any sort of punishment you seem fit for her, you are allowed to make upon her.
What? No. It's fine. It's she apologized, and it's like we're all friends here, and like don't worry, it's fine. You know.
He'll nod, and he'll actually extend his hand to shake yours as a thanks.
Oh yeah, she just accepts it.
When you shake his hand, you will feel there's a piece of paper inside his hand.
And she just it doesn't make a show of it. She just nods and just it's like sometimes these kind of places, these kind of meetings, you get nervous and excited and stuff, and it's not a big deal. And she just kind of whenever she gets the opportunity to just slowly walk back and come to a place that is less visible and less people are looking at, she will do exactly that.
You read the paper?
Yeah, she will have a look at it, but first when she's got like a little bit away.
When you walk away, I guess, and you look inside, it'll basically say inside a piece of paper, in this room, in this hall, status is everything. I'm sorry I need to apologize in such a formal matter, but if I didn't, my status as I am would be looked down upon as you are agent of the Crimson Council.
Emily just looks at it, reads it, and whenever she gets eye contact, she just gives you a nod. She doesn't give you a thumbs up, so it's visible, but almost.
Yeah.
As you're kind of both dealing with this, and as you let your child up after just placing on the ground like this, you, of course, will feel this instantly. James, you'll recognize the presence of one Arthur, who appears behind you, who appears before you, skips the queue of other kindred who have been waiting to see him, and seems to just go towards you out of interest of what's been occurring, what's been happening. A lively event, a show almost, and he sort of presents himself and goes, "Dear Sheriff, my brother, my sibling of the Silent Mother, I welcome you to my humble gathering, my pathetic party. And your new child I give most gracious and warmth at her appearance, and I welcome her into our family, our dynasty."
And of course, keeping up appearances as well. James will, and this is talking with large voices, so everyone can hear, I guess.
Of course, yeah. He's saying it's all big show right now.
Oh, my dearest brother, thank you so much for inviting me. Of course, this is no simple party. It is a magnificent feast meant for the most esteemed kindred of the city. And me and my child, and I think everyone within these city limits, thank you for your presence here.
He smiles and he kind of bows to everyone else, and everyone else claps in the room. It's kind of as if they've all been expecting this. They've all been kind of welcoming. So he sort of, apologizes to the others that have queued or have waited to see him and go, "Oh, a brief moment, I must speak with my brother. We have the utmost matters of London to discuss." And it carries on, and he kind of gestures to follow. Of course, he's got these bouncers and all the security stuff.
Yeah.
And he gestures for you and your child to come with. And he does look to the other individual that was antagonizing you, that was talking to you, but he leaves her. He doesn't speak to her. But he will walk off with you to, not towards the fireplace, towards the bar area. Funny enough, he'll walk towards the other individual that was antagonizing you, the more quiet area of the bar, and he'll present a nice table, a nice place for you to sit. And as he does so, he offers you drinks, vitae, beverages, whatever you wish. He will provide. He is the host, and but as he looks towards you, he will ask you a serious question, unless you interrupt or say.
Of course, he's doing all the things, that is polite and everything like that. He refuses 3 times before he even accepts the drink.
Of course. But as he does so, eventually he sits down and goes, "Oh, your new child is so wonderful and beautiful, and I never thought that you would embrace the infamous prophet of London, the ghoul of your master, your sire."
Oh no, speaks no such thing. There is only one master in my mind.
Of course. Please do not presume. My questions, I'm just intrigued as to your choice of a child, and she is very vibrant. I've already been complimented by some of my guests as to her approach. Your child, by the way, is looking at him complete contestant, disgust, and sort of and even she wants to have a go at him. But of course, she'll obey whatever command or whatever gesture you give, or if you tell her not to, she won't. But then after a while, he'll do the polite sort of pleasantries, the discussions, and then he'll gesture to a more sort of formal conversation of, despite all these people around us, this party again, can we speak brother to brother, sibling to sibling, for a private moment? If that is acceptable to you, my dear brother, my sheriff of London.
Of course, dear brother.
He kind of gestures. The drinks are on the house. Present yourself in the top left corner table as he kind of gestures for her to go away. And some of the security stuff go. He's still got one or two around, but they've kept a distance. And is it the first time you've probably met with him or spoken with him with no one around? It's a bit bizarre. He's always had some staff or someone nearby. This is the first time he's been on by himself. Now is talking to you. This is the most upfront you've ever been with him in the past, 40 to 50 years almost.
So, whatever do you wish to talk about, dear brother?
I wish to keep this discreet. This is a family issue, a family matter. Mother is concerned. She has not been able to contact you as she once was. There have been rumors of your incestuous nature with the kindred at Treadwell's.
Do you suggest I am walking into some blood perversion with our dear sister?
The Invictus aren't beyond bonds of the blood. We welcome them. We accept them in certain circumstances. It is an order to things, a welcome approach to governments. But your reckless behavior these past few weeks, your lack of involvement in the Invictus, your kind of absence of late has been quite worrying, quite troublesome to me and others. And we are just concerned of your well-being, whether you're being manipulated by outside forces.
As of these recent nights, I've been walking through some sort of, people call it the Ancillus reminiscence, the feeling that you are getting lost in the world in such a long age when it's reaching its zenith. Well, not its top, at least for me yet, and of course not for you either, brother. But as it is, yes, I've been a bit worried and I've been dealing with my own things, but now I'm back and I'm back into the fold and I'm here to do my job.
I wish that much, brother. I wish that utmost, brother. What is what you're saying right now a lie, or is it the truth?
It is not a lie, but of course it's
okay. We'll play this. There's an element of confusion. He's going an element of confusion. So he looks at you and he sees this confusion. He sees this kind of mixed emotion and just. I've always heard great stories of you, the tales of James, the sheriff, the grand profiteer, the inebriator, the clean one, the individual who would uphold the law no matter what. And yet I see you before me now, and you seem so confused, so Weak. Is this what I should report to our dear mother?
I cannot stop you from reporting anything, Arthur, and you know that pretty well. However, you are to report whatever you seem fit and whatever you see before you. I will not lie to you. Yes, I am a little bit confused, but nevertheless, the law is still the law, and the Invictus represents the law.
Well, then I ask, brother, I am in a difficult situation. I shall report such instance of your lack of work, lack of effort into London. Now, what could you give me to persuade me otherwise? What could you offer me to persuade my decision otherwise?
I have nothing to offer, but saying that my lack of enthusiasm into London is not something that is true. I have been meeting with other people as well, trying to get some guidance, but finding myself back in the guidance of the law and God Himself, the Almighty. Feeling
I accept all your rhetoric, I accept all your phrases, but I'm happy to hold off information that I could give to others, to Mother, and other members of our dynasty. If you were to inform me of the details of one, I believe she's calling herself Mora now, the Lady of Treadwell.
Moira, it's Maria.
Yes, I mean some simple facts. Her details, information, wealth, knowledge, traps, the establishment she runs. Such information is minor, insignificant, but enough for me to ignore your mishaps, your extra activities.
I think you should not ask me too much about that. I know very little about her, other than, well, of course, where her birthmarks are, and some of the more things she wants to do. She wants to be left alone and left to her own devices.
Okay, is that a lie? Are you saying that you? Is there a lot more that you know, but you're trying not to tell it?
I mean, really? What else do I know?
You know enough. You know the details of the Treadwells. You know what.
I don't know any of the traps. I don't know anything like that.
No, I know, but you know the state of mind she's in, and the kind of he's trying to gauge. He's trying to gauge what relationship you have. So
he's
this
just
is a complicated one.
Yeah.
So I think we can do a composure.
I mean,
hold on.
I'm like trying. I'm looking in my mind's eye.
I think if you're trying to hide your relationship involving Maria, so let's just simply say a composure plus subterfuge roll minus his let's just say wits. So that's gonna be 4. He's got quite a lot of wits. He knows when someone's lying to him. So it's going to be minusing 4 here. And it's just to gauge your relationship between you and your other sibling.
I'm going to spend 1 of my 3 remaining willpower into this.
Okay. Yes, you may. Yes, you may. That's plus 3 to that dice roll. But minusing 3, so it's just your normal dice roll. So that is your composure plus, I think, subterfuge.
Oop. 1 success.
Oh, yeah. He can't quite gauge it. He can't quite gauge it. He's pushing you. He's asking you, give him some information, and he's unsure. It seems as if yes, you are manipulating her. She's just nothing more than a tool to try to get into London, and nothing more beyond that. There's nothing more beyond that. And he sort of nods and acknowledges, and and welcomes it and goes, oh, well. And actually talks to you and says, well, look, you should invite her to our gatherings. It's so strange that one of the Invictus, one of the Ventrue clan does not approach us in these parties, in these events. She's always been very distant, very rebellious.
He's going to he's going to nod and say, "Well, I'm not going to lie. She is not one that is too keen on family. Her interest in me is more that I'm not truly from the dynasty and truly not her brother, and she thinks she can trust me more by that standard. But, however, as far as I know, you will be introduced to her in due time. She is looking to talk to you of some matter."
Of course, of course. There are many that wish to speak to me. A man of such position and power needs to make time for such people. And he'll keep talking and this will go back and forth. This kind of conversation is back and forth constantly. But we'll zoom in for a brief moment to Emily. She's waiting at the bar nearby you, at the other end of the bar. Emily, you are on your own at the moment with, let's say, some mortals and some other ghouls. Two mortals have tried to approach you, chat you up, purely on the basis of trying to get a good night out of you. But of course, you've said no, and you've said,
yeah, like just as a thing, like she's really like if they're approaching her as to pick her up in some way or fashion.
There's a few mortals, the old mayor of London, the chief, Goldman Sachs banker, whatever. They're all trying to approach you.
Yeah, and Emily is like, no, thank you. I'm washing my hair and stuff. Like it's not leaving. Like she's in no way like aggressively turning them off. Like she's stumbling over her words and she's nervous when they approach her. But yeah, she manages to get them away at some point.
And at this point, as you're saying this, as you kind of and you're witnessing this, the kindred sort of debate that's going in front of you. The other end of the room, you see the bouncers and you see them talking, and you've seen this all before. You've never done the talking. You've never spoken to other kindred to the extent of diplomacy, but you've always been the bodyguard. You've always been the individual that's been there to prepare or, examine the vengeance if someone betrayed another kindred, etc. So it's somewhat old school to you, even though you're quite a young kindred. It's still, you've seen this all before. And as this is all going before you, you just see to your left someone's just sat there, and they kind of appear there. It's as if, oh, I didn't realize you sat there. And he just looks to you, and he looks to you in a very sort of smile, a very sort of happy, a very sort of fresh face individual, and he just looks at you and just goes, "Hey, you having a good time or a bad time?"
Is this guy? Does he appear? Is he mortal or
appears mortal? Blood pumping through his veins. Flesh is alive. Hair is glowing. It's just. He seems somewhat tall, and actually, he seems, his legs seem to have an issue or problem. He seems to move his legs as he's sort of with his hands, and he's got a blonde hair and blue eyes. Sort of a very sort of handsome, simple individual, and he's sort of talking to you. And there's a few other individuals behind him that seem to be.
And Emily will just say, yeah, like I'm kind of working, but yeah, I'm doing good. Thank
you. I don't know. Look, I don't know. Have a good time. That's me and my friends. We all turn up to these events, and best thing you can do is just enjoy the free bar. Is what I say.
Right. So you were, who are you with?
Oh, we're with the. He gives you kind of a wink, very loud wink of like, oh, the special lot.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good. Again, she looks as though she has no idea what to say. She just drinks from her glass.
You know what? He actually stops. He doesn't push you. He doesn't question you further, even if you go quiet for a few moments. He just happily sits there. Yeah, doesn't question it and just goes. But then, if some time does go by, he'll just go, so why are you here? Why are you bothering with this show?
Kind of have to. Like, I'm local security.
That sounds like me. I have to be here just to show up, make it a scene, show my face. Ugh, it's a lot of bloody hassle.
But like work, or is it like
Oh, it's always work, isn't it? Well,
but you
same with
would
you.
be
It's work for you. You just turn up. You have to show your face, be here, be present,
but
obey your chief's
you don't
orders.
look like you look as though you're warm and alive and things.
Oh, we're special members. We get the blood in.
Oh, right. But like, oh, so you're just. Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. Did you hurt yourself? And she points down to his leg.
Oh, I had an injury a while back, and I don't want to bore you with that. It's an old story, but I'm better. I'm here now. I'm earning big bucks. God, these guys, they pay a lot to get us involved in this situation. And I'd like to say we're security, but with my legs, no, I'm not security. I just help run things. I make sure things just, keep things, I make things go fluid, I think. Is that the word? Yeah. Well, what's a pretty thing like you doing here? I mean, you're quite out of place amongst these high rogues.
Yeah, I told myself that like 10 minutes ago. Yeah, I know. I She just pauses for a moment, thinks to herself what the hell she's gonna say, and she says, "I'm kind of like local security, but just not for this place, but for the city, kind of."
You're security for the city. Wow. That sounds
Well, it's
really impressive.
kind of.
Oh, kind of. Okay. Look, I just help run things here. I mean, I don't know about the city, but yeah, okay. That's.
I'm not saying I'm like everywhere at once, but like,
Hey, look, you look like a lady that could take on like the city. I mean, London's a dangerous place. It's nice to see someone you can handle yourself here.
well, yeah, those enlightened assholes, like, they're quite annoying, but I got the drop on a couple of their guys a couple of weeks ago, actually.
I was just thinking, the Enlightened, they're the guys that have been like provoking this group, isn't it? They.
Yeah. Like, three of them followed me, but unlucky for them, I kind of got them up on the roof of the building and then threw them off the building.
Oh God, you threw them off the roof of the building. Jesus.
Oh, it's there. There's lots of well, there's some complications to fighting them, but it's no big deal. It's part of the job, I suppose.
Wow, jeez. Don't let me piss you off, lady.
No, it's fine.
Oh, look, let me get you a drink here. He kind of looks at you and or do pre-orders use like a vitae drink or blood drink from the bar?
Oh, if Emily could blush, she probably would. Oh, she definitely would.
Okay, yeah, you do.
But she just like looks at it and just thanks.
No, it's no problem. I mean, look, I'm totally new to all of this. I just got hooked in my friend. He carries on with his story. He talks in with his story where his friend hooked him in. Lots of money, lots of dough, convincing argument, and then the Immortals, they're reclaiming London. The Invictus are reclaiming London. It's this whole story. He kind of brags or talks to you about it. But he mentions loads of friends he's lost. Loads of other ghouls have died, or people have been killed by the Enlightened, or by other kindred, and this whole sort of fight that goes back and forth. But we will go from this scene to Eric, and you're still talking to Arthur, and Arthur is about to leave. He's about to get up. You've discussed the sort of political issues, and you've kind of left the situation. He is convinced that you are still loyal to the Invictus. He is convinced that you're still loyal enough, but still somewhat suspicious. But he will gesture and bow and go, I hope you're welcome to the rest of this evening's festivities and dance, and I hope you speak and talk to others of the covenant of the Invictus, and we'll be watching.
Of course, brother. One more thing before you leave.
Anything, my brother, anything.
About this Jessica woman of the La Sanctum.
She is the child of a particular kindred known only as the Sin Eater. A kindred of somewhat high standing on the Crimson Council. This is the only excuse for her presence here. Otherwise, she'd be dismissed. She's one of those biblical, heretical types. They would damn you even for spitting on the street.
Well, I kind of like her. Not in that kind of way, brother. You know, I'm a man of God myself. Church and all that.
I've always found you a man of law, brother. Faith is a very crone expedite. A crone sort of attribute, is what he says.
Well, of course, brother, you know that there is no law higher than the law of God.
And I also know that one can never rise more than their sire, no matter as much as they wish to.
And talking about the law, have you heard about the medical facility?
We have already had 2 task force places to investigate and examine this facility. You need not worry yourself, brother, about it.
I'm very interested in it and I'm going in.
As sheriff, you cannot possibly assume yourself to go in such a place.
I think that returning the lost children of the night into the fold once again would shine very brightly for the Invictus and me, and of course you.
If you to suit one's own end, if you wish to go forth and examine this medical facility beyond the regards of security of your own more immortality, then I can only wish you good luck. Proceed well, my brother, my sibling. But you will not receive any support of the Invictus.
Of course, if you say it like that, I'm sad that that is the way that it is, but I hope that I can help these poor people trapped inside that place. But for now, you have many guests to attend to, and you are the host of this party. If you ever need me to throw someone out to show my face during this party, you may just simply call upon me. But for now, dear brother, you have many guests to attend to.
He kind of gestures you away and goes, I appreciate your efforts, brother, and I hope you the best. Wish you all mother's blessings. And he kind of gives you a few gestures and a few bows and proceeds to walk away and proceed back into the ballroom, back into the main area. The main sort of gathering where all the kindred are sort of assuming and talking and giving information. Cassandra is still recalling from the political event that's just happened and talking to a few other kindred, and she'll speak to you in a moment.
I'll head towards the bar and Miss Stevenson.
Okay, so we'll go to one Emily. You're having this conversation with this individual, and he reveals more about he's hired help for the Invictus, securing the area. Actually, he owns one of the security companies that the Invictus has hired to run this event, and all sorts of issues. He's actually in a wheelchair. He can walk slightly, but he has to spend a lot of the time in a wheelchair to recover and such. And he's very defensive of this. He's very reflective of this. But as you're talking, this other kindred will emerge or will go towards you and speak to you. So how do you react? What do you do?
She will just say, give me a little moment. I have to talk work, she just says.
Oh, yeah, of course. And he gestures to one of his other staff or whoever, and they kind of move him or get him up or get him onto a chair, and he kind of wheels away into a sort of corner or bar area.
Mm. And then Emily will just say, oh, hi, James. I'm really sorry about before, but, she was being a little testy, so kind of had to... it's just... No, it's fine. Like, it's just... No, I mean, like, any news?
Not really.
So your brother's running this place. Quite
Stepbrother.
Step sorry. Right. So
Yes.
well, you heard about the 3 assholes who attacked me, right?
No.
Well, we might have a bigger problem. Well, one more problem. I kind of Googled a person not too long ago. A banker, some description, I'm not sure. Not too long ago, like a couple of weeks ago, he kind of turned up. Well, he knew where I was. He was following me. And I turned him into a ghoul, but when he came around, I'm fairly sure he was a revenant. How this is possible, I don't know.
Revenants can appear by many sort of different ways. I've dealt with a few. If a person dies when having blood of a vampire within them, they can actually rise once more.
Yeah, I know this guy wasn't dead. Like, I know that. And he said it was kind of foggy, but apparently the Enlightened got to him and did something to him. I'm not entirely sure what or how. But there is also another problem. You know that guy, the Nosferatu that hangs out at Misty Oaks?
Yeah, his name in passing only. What
Well,
about him?
he's been getting more and more revenants.
Yes, I know.
Do you think these two are connected?
I believe so. Maybe.
Well, it turned out it was a really good way for tracking me because he came straight to me and suddenly he remembered that there might be someone following him. And true enough, 3 of those enlightened assholes turned up, and well, I had to claw my way out. Well, I managed. Got up on the roof of a house, and they followed me, idiots. And I kind of threw them off the roof. I don't think any of them really had a good time landing, but hey.
What I know is, first of all, is that man still alive?
Well, he's a revenant, but I secured him. He's buried, he's torpored in Misty Oaks at the moment.
All right. Bring him to me sometime, and I'll have my sister have a look at him.
Okay, we can do that. Sure.
Second of all, he cannot remain a revenant. So I suggest you either deal with him by final death or embrace.
Shit. Fuck. Okay. That's just perfect. Sure.
Since right now, with all the things happening right now, my working hypothesis is that the Enlightened have gained a, let's say, knowledge that was usually reserved, I think, only for the Blood Thief. I mean, the Blood Thief used to have revenants, a lot of them. He liked them. Some stories even say he used to be one back in the day before he ascended to the throne of the Kaffians and the Bloody Carnival party. They might have learned some way of making revenants for sure. That means that any ghoul within the city, now speaking, is a potential magnet as the revenants are drawn towards the masters.
And we know for a fact that it's impossible for someone to be helping them, right? No, we don't. We actually know that is possible. We've met that one in the tunnels. So there could be someone of us helping them. Fill in some of the blanks, maybe?
Yeah. So, speaking about helping people, have you seen Jonathan around? The young man you swore on?
Yeah.
I want to talk to him.
What about?
I think you can guess what about.
Let's assume I can't.
Let's assume he's a traitor.
He isn't.
Are you lying to me?
No. That's a critical fail. You know that she's... Well, actually, it's probably not that easy, like...
What's your subterfuge?
It's 0.
Yeah, it's a fail. Let's keep it clean and sweet. It's a fail. You're lying. It's obvious.
Yeah, that's what I said. They're saying no, as she's clearly like there is something there. Whether she's outright lying or something, that's one thing. Like, but it will be like 5 minutes. It will be like 5, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and she'll be like, "Look, he did speak to the assholes, but I mean, apparently one of the guys, the one that died the first of these prophets or whatever they are, was Martha's. Oh yeah, right. He was they were friends, and he was a good person or something. I don't really know, honestly, but he was trying to get some sort of deal between us. It didn't work, but well.
Miss Stevenson, I'm gonna tell it in a way that is more clear. When a dog pisses on the carpet, it's not the dog's fault. It's the master's fault for not letting its dog out. But when a dog calls the cops on all the other dogs within the area and tries to fucking kill them all, that's a fucking problem, isn't it?
Yeah, look, he's not going to do it again, okay?
He's not going to do it again.
Like, she doesn't seem convincing in any way.
No. And he looks at you with, and you see like in his eyes, he is rapidly losing faith in you.
You do know what...
Miss Stevenson, what do you want me to report when I do my next report to the Crimson Council? That you helped the traitor to the blood and the man who tried to help the enlightened?
Look, you do know who he is to me, right?
I have no idea, and I don't really fucking care.
What do you want me to do? Like, reprimand him?
I want you to put a rabid dog down. Or I will put him down and report you. And then I will need to put you down.
You will just notice that there is, like, it's not a frenzy, but you just feel that the beast just suddenly just, as you begin to mention that, you can just feel that it's almost as it's in her, like, lower abdomen, but then it suddenly is in her chest. Like, it's just wells up somehow, but she just looks, look, I'll take care of it, and I'll make sure he doesn't do it again.
Miss Stevenson, I'm only going to say this once. I trust you, but your word is your word. And if you go back on that, if you vouched for him, go back on that. And all the trust I have ever placed with you is gone and lost.
All right.
There is only one, maybe two things. I would say the second one being the complete and utter known blood bond of him. That would make me feel okay with this.
We already have that. That's the problem. He's my brother of the blood.
That doesn't mean shit. I mean blood bond, not blood sympathy. Miss Stevenson, I'm not going to pry into your family matters in any way, and that's the thing. I'm just doing my job here. I don't want to do that job. And that's as a courtesy to you. But if all the nice neighbors I have very, very nice grassy fields outside their houses, and yours has a dump truck, I need to call Neighborhood Watch.
So, you want me to blood bond him, or else kill him?
Something like that. Or find another solution.
Fuck. Alright. I'll find a solution. I'll report back to you when it's done.
Good. I trust you in this matter, and I trust that you will find a good solution. We don't need to lose more men than we already have.
Right, which is why I don't think it's a good idea to just blitz him, because we might, well, I actually need him for something fairly soon.
Good. I hope, and I hope to God and all that is holy that you find a good solution to all this. But, and I think you know where I'm coming from with this. I cannot have a possible spy working within our midst.
Well, I know. He's not. He's just a douchebag sometimes, but he's actually just kind of out for himself and just being a selfish prick. And just
Yeah. But if a problem can be solved, I don't want to solve your problem. That's what I'm saying.
I appreciate that.
And if you need any help, of course, you can always call upon me.
Right, She looks at him. That might be a thing I need some help with. Jonathan will be there, so you can talk to him.
I hope you have solved your little problem before then. But yes, what do you need from me?
There's an operation going down. Maybe you want to help out. I don't know.
Operation into what?
There's a hospital.
Oh,
Thingy.
The medical facility watched by two armed men at the front, two armed men at the back, one armed man at the top, walking around the building perimeter. Yes.
Okay, so you know about the place.
I very much know about the place.
So, thing is going to go down, and me and Jonathan are going to do some stuff related to that. Maybe you want to help? There's some people in there that needs to get out of there. And, yeah, we're doing a thing, and, I don't know, I think we could use the help.
Of course. I would be happy to help. But before that, as said, solve the problem. And then you will have all my attention.
All right. Okay. Okay, good. Good.
I never asked you, by the way, and I know this is a very personal question. What covenant are you from? Or is it one of the covenants that should not be mentioned in this kind of establishment?
And she just leans in, just so it's the covenant.
He'll nod. All right. Have you been talking to Blood Drive?
I've met him once.
I never met the man myself. All I know is he seems dumb.
Well, I would go for crazy, but I think he works in on different levels in different situations. He seemed to be really, really fucking quick on the uptake on when he was driving and things were going down, but yeah. But then when he's not, then he's kind of like, not really, a little bit slow somehow. I think I agree with you in a certain sense.
what I think about a lot about is just how he's presenting himself to the rest of the community of Kindred within the city. But of course, that is his burden to bear. Uh, uh,
Right. But yeah, I'll do the thing.
good, good. We need more fighting men on our side.
Yeah. By the way, do you know how to get guns?
Um,
I'm guessing yes, but
I can talk to a few people.
yeah, because if we need to like fight some of the Enlightens, we need to be doing it from a range, all of us. We can't go in fisticuffs.
Yeah, I know.
So I kind of need a gun because, well, honestly, I've never really had to use anything else than close quarter combat. So
Do you even know how to fire again?
point it at the thing you want dead and squeeze the trigger.
Good enough. All right, I'll see what I can do.
She just nods. Finish the rest of her drink. She'll probably just like say goodbye to the ghoul. Probably spend a little time. He seemed somewhat relaxed. She could dig it.
Um, about that ghoul, Dave. Do I know who that ghoul? Who's that? Whose ghoul is that?
Oh,
David?
sorry. Is this the ghoul from the bar?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yeah. He's there. Yeah, he's always there. He's in the background. He's following her. He smiles. He sort of gestures to you, and there's nothing about him that's threatening. Nothing about him that's. Yeah, he just appears as a mortal. Appears as an old person. He just seems to be there, being as helpful as possible, basically. He acknowledges you and nods to you.
Yeah. Of course, I'm going to say this right off the bat. I would not have told her anything in front of this school.
Yeah, fair enough. No, he's in the background. He's not there.
Yeah.
Anything you said is it's a private thing. He's just
Yeah.
really there when.
But whose school is this?
It's a complex system. Who knows? Is it Arthur's? Is it some humble guests? Ghouls are ghouls. And above your notice, as an ancilla, your children, ancilla, neonate ghouls, it's hard to tell. It's very hard to tell. Basically, you definitely know this is a sibling, someone of the Invictus, but it's hard to tell.
All right. So I've seen him around sometime.
You have seen him before. You've definitely seen him before in Invictus records.
Okay,
From
cool.
years and years and years back. Again, like I said, it's very hard to consider. So I think we can happily conclude the scene with this complex drama of ins and outs and who, what, and who isn't. And so I think we'll just end that scene with the complex sort of diplomacy that you two have brought before yourself. And we will end it with Cassandra on the rampage, as you've left her on her own, and she has done some other activities with other kindred and caused great gossip, a great sin amongst the Invictus. And with you speaking with a common Crimson agent, Crimson Council agent, most this evening, and disregarding your other guests, and this will have other effects, and something will happen as well, but we'll go into that later. So thank you for watching, folks. We hope you enjoyed the show, and have a good night.